Hello, once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another entertainment roundup. J77 here. Not going to waste any time. Let's get to the stories at hand. I might as well start off with the Dennis Rodman thing. In case you guys have not heard by now, Dennis Rodman has been admitted to a rehab center for alcohol-related problems. These issues have arisen pretty much stemming from the interview that has happened, an interview that pretty much went horribly wrong, to the point where he did apologize and acknowledge that he was drinking at the time. There was more information as to what led to his drinking to begin with, but needless to say, things did not go well, especially during that trip to Korea, especially after he returned and said he regretted the trip. And this is largely due to the fact of the following things. One, before he went to the trip, as you know, he assembled the All-Star basketball team, which was quitting on him left and right, and he was getting very frustrated about the situation. The basketball players quit because of family concern, and they have every right to be concerned, especially the incident that's going on in Korea, North Korea. These concerns were pretty much stemming to, will they be safe? Can we trust this guy to bring up people home alive? And needless to say, it got to the point where it was like everything that he was working for was falling apart. Um, Things didn't didn't get any better when he decided to drink, be drunk during an interview, which the interview just went horribly wrong. He did later apologize, explaining his actions, but things didn't get any better once that team went to Korea. Besides the awkward "Happy Birthday" song he did, the basketball, it was very clear that the team did not want to be there. They was more concerned about their own safety than the game itself. And that led to reports saying that he regretted the trip, and it even led to reports of saying that he is now in rehab. So this has been one domino effect after the other, and as a result, it didn't help Robin one bit, not in the public eye, and not in terms of his own health. And it leads to where he is right now. Now, I know a lot of people who already don't even like the guy, and that's not even not doing this incident, but doing his stint in the NBA. Is relishing at the fact that this happened to him. I'm not one of them. I know a lot of people want to criticize him and chastise him and basically maul him for his lack of well, for his part of being in Korea in the first place, and the fact that he didn't use his star status to help convince Jin Kyle to release a person who has been highly profiled in the news. The guy's been sentenced to 20 years in prison, and the family has made it very clear how unhappy they was and how Rodman seemed to have basically disrespect the man who was already had health problems to begin with and may not survive his prison stint, especially in that prison system that North Korea has. And he was even more backed up in the fact that he had failed to even mention or try to convince his best friend to release him. So there's a lot of stuff that went down there that a lot of people were also angry about him. But I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to be one of those people. In fact, I'm going to try to say something that may shock you guys, and you may disagree or agree, but I think it has to be said. I feel, and this is my own personal feeling, you don't have to agree with me, that I think that Rodman, in his own mind, thought he was doing what was best for this country. Whether you think it's crazy or not, I do feel in his own heart that he felt he was doing the right thing by trying to get an open dialogue between both countries. He did not see what the news was reporting. He did not see what the media has been was talking about in terms of reports of executions, public executions, to him executing his own uncle. To him, he saw a good man. He saw a person that has been misunderstood, and he was trying to reveal that side of him through basketball, as well as bringing a dialogue from both countries. Pretty much everybody's pretty established that he became the unofficial ambassador for the United States, and which is something that was not something he should have put himself into to begin with. For one thing, he doesn't have any kind of diplomatic experience, and two, in terms of his dialogue concern, in terms of him, actually communicating in a way that can bring peace to both countries, that is definitely not his field, especially after the interview that he had conducted before the basketball game in Korea. And so it was never going to be a good match. But I do feel he thought he was doing what he feels was the right thing for not only for Korea but for the United States, to show that maybe we can have a dialogue. I'm sorry that it didn't work that way, because there is no dialogue with the United States, and B, the fact he put himself out there made him look more worse than what it is. That may probably have never been his intention. It's never been his intention to insult the family. It's never been his intention to bring such negativity towards himself. But I think he honestly believed he was doing the right thing for the sake of his country and for the sake of his friend that he could still consider as a friend, Jin Jong-il. So in many regards, I cannot bash him for that. I cannot really go crazy for that. I'm going on him for being very insensitive to a situation involving a person who's spending pretty much 20 years and may not make it to 20 years in prison, as well as his family. I can get on him for the fact that he did an interview drunk, but in terms of what his true motives were, I really, honestly, cannot get hard on him, because I honestly thought he was trying to do what I just explained to do, try to put an open, peaceful dialogue. It just never worked out. And the fact that you're now hearing these reports that he's now in a rehab center, it really just shows that maybe it wasn't the best decision to make in terms of going back to Korea, and as well as hosting a all-star basketball team that neither the NBA or the United States actually approved. I will say this: I hope that he gets himself back together. I hope he can able to recuperate, to basically, fix whatever problem that arise between that situation, because alcoholism is a very serious thing, and it should not be taken as a joke. Alcoholism is very, very dangerous, especially for those who don't know it, especially for those who are chronicle severely alcoholics. And I hope that if he's going there, it's definitely not to get any pity for the media, but to actually confront problems that he has had, especially throughout that event that happened these last few months. So with that being said, I'm just going to go right on. I will leave a link to the article, let you guys decide there. But to me, we can criticize for a lot of things. I can't criticize him or call him BS on what he felt he was doing the right thing, because I really do believe he thought he was doing it for the best interest of the country. The country just wasn't buying the Kool-Aid. It just wasn't buying it. All right. With that being said, I might as well talk about a story that there's two reality stories based on two reality TVs. I might as well just get right straight to the first one, because I don't have no sympathy for this guy at all. And before I go in, I don't watch The Bachelors. I have no reason to watch The Bachelors. I don't care about The Bachelor at all. Most of these so-called reality TV shows that they keep claiming, I care less about it. I will say this. This did not help Dash Network at all. I don't know what NBC is going to do. I don't think they're going to do much, but I do believe that this guy put his foot in his mouth, and he's going to probably go down as one of the few unlikable bachelors the network have ever had, and that's because of what he said. I'm going to read the article courtesy of TV or not TV. This is done by Scott D. Pierce, who wrote the article. This was pretty much an article that's happened. But it said, if you need another reason not to watch The Bachelor, and trust me, you don't. Here is the latest one. I think it's Juan Pablo Gravis. The current Bachelor on ABC series is a big, stinking homophobe, a narrow-minded bigot. And no, that's not too harsh. That is what the guy who wrote the article said in an interview with Sean Daly at ABC Star Party interview event at the Television Critic Association press tour. The utterly oblivious Bachelor outlined his reasons why there should never be a gay bachelor in the upcoming season of the show. He says, I don't think they're a good example for the kids to watch that on television. Obviously, people have their husbands and wives and kids, and that is how we were growing up. Now there is fathers having kids and all that, and it is hard for me to understand them. To the sense of the household having people, two parents sleeping in the same bed, uh, and a kid going into bed is just confusing in a sense. Surely it's confusing the Grabbers who went out of his way to say that he has gay friends, which is sort of like a racial bigot insisting that he has black friends, and he's absolutely right. Because there was a lot more than what he said than that. Well, I'll talk about that here as I continue. The current bachelor asks, but I respect them because they want to have kids. I want them to be parents, so it is a scale. They do where they do put in on that scale. Where is the thin line to cross or not? You have to respect everybody, desires of and way and living, but it should be too it would be too hard for television. Obviously, you haven't watched Modern Family, but I'll get to that in a minute. As opposed to having a straight man and woman engaging in sexual relationship with multiple partners on The Bachelor, we push all. What pushed all this over the top was none of oblivious about gay friends. They're more perverts in a sense. And there you go. Do I need to even go any further? This is what he basically said in the interview. And I'm going to say this right now. And I'm going to just let you leave a link so you guys can see it yourself. I'm getting a little sick and tired of these guys who continue to say negative things towards gays, using the fact is that they're perverts. They all the gay guys, men and women, are just after the children. They're going to attack the children. That seemed to be the crouch that they always seem to hang on to when it comes to dealing with this situation. And it just it's it just bothers me a lot, especially this coming from again a guy who goes on TV, and this is what the writer says, and I agree 100% what he's saying. This coming from a guy who goes on TV and makes out with and has sex with multiple women in his search for true love. That's just normal behavior, which is not. This is the problem I have with this whole thing. And I know ABC is not too happy about it. But the most importantly is that he claims that when you see a man kissing another man, or a woman kissing another woman, pretty for that matter, he sees it as more of a pervert move, if anything else. Let's just call it like it is. He don't feel comfortable with them being around. So he doesn't even want to see them on television. That's what that's all about. Okay? And again, he did apologize. I'll make that very clear. If you guys want to believe that's apologize. But I'm not buying that apology because, again, every time these guys say these kind of things, that's the first thing they say, oh, I got plenty of gay friends. I got nothing against them. I got total respect for them. But you make these comments that says the opposite. Be real. All right? Again, this is the perfect example of people who don't understand, and rather than just understanding or respecting them, they don't want to see it. They don't want to be around it, and they will make any kind of laws and make any kind of restrictions to make sure they don't have to deal with it. They don't feel comfortable. We don't want it. We want to see it. Now, I haven't seen anything new that's being said. ABC did issue a statement. They said that the newest Bachelor comments was careless. thoughtless, and insensitive, and has no way to reflect the views on the network, on the show, and the producers or the studios. Uh, yeah, they're not, uh, they're not very happy about this, especially one of their shows, especially the history of some of the shows they had in the past. You would think that this won't come back and backfire, but it actually did. That's a very mild rebuke. It would have been nice if ABC had acknowledged the bigotry and stupidity spawned at the press past events. If there is humor to this, is that that earlier in today's critics saying that the Rodman Hotel in Pasadena has long-stemmed roses delivered to their room. A card attached to them. We will accept this rose. It's very nice, and says that the Bachelor was the one who gave them. It was delivered in both female and male critics. Everyone must be horrified. I don't know what to tell you about that. I'll leave a link to this story, but here's the thing that really bothers me here. This guy, well, this is something that, two things is why NBC is not happy about this. The Bachelor had a history. They had a lawsuit a while ago about saying it didn't have enough minorities in the show. This is the first Spanish Bachelor the show has ever had, period. And yet, instead of walking that clean line, he says something that has pretty much offended a lot of people. People who I seriously doubt watch the show anyway, or the Bachelors in the past event. But that's neither here or there. The point is, he's not going to be relevant after the season. I can guarantee you that. Once this show is over, and if he does find the right mate, fine, but I guarantee he ain't going to have a career after that. Alright, most of these bachelors rarely have a career after the cameras go on. And the fact that he would say that just scratched my head. He basically committed television suicide with this. He really did. And the fact is, he's going to keep throwing it. He has friends like this. Look, I'm saying right now, if I'm gay, not, but I'm saying if I want, why would I want to be this guy's friend? Why would I? The stuff he said just doesn't click. Okay? It's one thing is that say I don't believe in that kind of lifestyle, and I really don't talk about that lifestyle, but I respect everyone else, and that's it. That's fine. But he went beyond that. And what's sad about it is that the last line that he said is more pervert, in a sense, is pretty much reflecting a lot of other people who feel the same way. Whether it's preaching church, whether they just already had it in mind that that's what they are, a lot of people feel this way. Vladimir Putin is a perfect example of that, and I got to do a report on that in What's News. So this is not surprising. So to me, I'm not buying his apology. I know he did it probably just as a PR move, but I'm not buying it. I'm just not. You guys may think it's genuine, that's fine, but to me, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. I will leave a link to the story below. I'd like to hear what you got to say, but I'm moving right along to another reality star that I got to talk about. And I'm not even going too much into this, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a fan of Kate Gossselin at all. I wasn't even a fan of Kate Plus 8. I have a very strong reason why I wasn't a fan of Kate Plus 8. And pretty much after what happened on the Today Show solidifies why I'm not a fan of Kate Gossselin. And I want to keep it in mind, I'm just talking about in terms of Kate Gossselin and the kids, and after what they have done, pretty much solidifies just how much of a money hungry woman she really is. Don't know why I almost reversed that there, but here's what it basically said, short and simple. Kate Gossselin tried to parade her kids out on TV, expecting to shout out words of how great their lives are now. But it blew up in her face. The article, which is very short and simple, said, asked the question, did she get what she deserved? The answer is yes. Now, I'm gonna leave a link to the video. I'm gonna let you guys watch the video. I'm not even gonna go further into the video. Well, needless to say, she went on an interview. Her kids was there. Two teenage daughters was there, and immediately you can see the body language telling you that they did not want to be there. Okay, Gossselin was talking a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of, not a lot of stuff, how great their lives were. The interviewer, who by the way did a very good job, an excellent job of conducting the interview. She knew when to talk, when not to talk, and pretty much when she didn't talk and when the kids did not speak, it was clear why they did not want to speak. And one of them said, plain and simple, we are not your puppet. And when you hear that, it's like, when you see it, it's like, this is going to be good. And it just went on and on and on. It just got worse and worse. Where you could tell that Kate Gossselin was trying to do damage control badly. And again, in this video, which again I will leave a link to because you got to see it. Me just talking about the article and me just saying about it doesn't have too much impact. If you watch the video, you'll completely understand. And almost all the comments on the video, because this is a fellow YouTuber who had this video, because the moment this came on my screen, it threw me over to TMZ. I'm not a big fan of TMZ for saying, but they did hit on some very important points. And once I saw the video myself, it was clear as day as why the stuff was happening. And I will say this: I will leave a link to TMZ. I'm also going to leave a link to the video itself because you need to see it for yourself to understand what I'm getting at. The interviewer said one question. It was a very important question. She said, "Don't you think by parading your kids out here like this, you think you're causing more damage, more harm than good?" And she brushed it up and said, "There is no harm. There's no problem in that at all." And I'm looking at it and I said, "Are you serious? Are you seeing your kids' emotions? Are you seeing their body language? They don't want to be there." And this is the problem that I think a lot of people who have a very huge beef with Kate Gossselin has with her. Is that she is living, her fame is living through her children. And I can't stand when people do that. When they live their stardom or their dreams through their kids. To me, that's just ultimate disgusting. And it ain't just her that does it. I have recently talked about this before with Will Smith, and for anybody saying, "Oh, don't talk about Will Smith," I respect Will Smith as an actor, as a music performer. Like to see his movies. Always enjoyed his work. Well, exception of that After Earth thing, but that's a different story for a different day. But there was reports that was coming out, especially with his daughter Will Smith, who pretty much walked away from the Annie movie, which, by the way, is going to be done with the same girl who was doing Beasts of Southern Wild. But that was originally was supposed to be for Will Smith, and she turned it down due to the fact that she was doing a lot of touring, and it pretty wore herself out. But reports saying that the father was really trying to push for her to be a star, trying to make it into a star, and it wasn't until Will said, "Hey, look, I just want to be a teenager. Can I do that first, please? Because I haven't been doing that." And the Will Smith, to his credit, respected his daughter's wishes. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's not trying to parade his kids out there, because unfortunately, I got told about After Earth again a little bit here. After Earth was clearly a vehicle for his son to gain stardom, because he really wasn't the main star of that movie. And many people have said, "Look, bro, he's not ready yet. Don't try and force the issue. He's not ready yet, and he probably won't be ready for a while." And needless to say, it didn't turn out so well if you see that movie. But again, this is a prime example, especially with Kate Gossselin, that I don't respect at all. That she really don't see that she's actually hurting our children, not helping it. Any parent should have told them, "Look, don't do it. Ask them, do you want to do this? Do you want to go on?" If they don't want to feel comfortable, leave it be. Why do you feel the need to parade your kids around here every time? To prove that you're a good mother? You don't need to prove anybody here that you're a good mother. Your actions alone speaks for itself. And right now, it ain't speaking very good about your judgments here. It really isn't. I really, really scratch my head. And now, there's been reports that her ex-husband has something to say about it. I haven't seen an article yet. If I do see it and I read it, I will do a single standalone video on it because I'm actually kind of curious of what happened. But needless to say, I know their divorce was not held well by the public press. It was very, very bitter. And many people pretty much were split on who fought the was. But I'll say this, Kate Gossselin, if you're listening to this video, I seriously doubt you doing it. Stop parading your kids. All right, stop showing them as trophies. Stop putting them in interviews that they clearly don't want. If you want to do an interview, fine, go out there yourself and do the interview. But for Christ's sakes, leave your kids out of it. Leave your kids alone. That was an absolute embarrassment for you. And you know what? Yeah, you deserve to get that embarrassment because there should be no reason why your kids should be out there. At all. But most importantly, stop living over your kids. Stop making your fame and fortune over your kids too. Especially if they don't want to be in the camera or the spotlight. You may disagree. That's fine. I will leave a link to TMZ. I will leave a link to the actual video. Being if you two haven't taken it down yet, be mindful of that. But I will leave a link, and you guys decide for yourself. That's all I can say about that. Now let's move on to some other news here that I have to talk about. I don't even know why I put her ass in entertainment news. I never once thought of her in entertainment. But I might as well just talk about her because she has actually made the circuit, and they have it on the entertainment file from CNN. This is where the article comes. I will leave the link again. But Octomom is back in the news, and not in a good way. According to the article, according to reports I've actually read, other than the article, Octomom Nadya Suleman, I believe, plead not guilty to welfare charges. The mom pleaded not guilty on Friday to welfare charges, fraud charges relating to allegations that she did not report money that was earned as a topless dancer, an adult film actress, according to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Our next court date is on February 3rd. On Monday, Los Angeles District Attorney Jackie Lynn said that while the woman, the Octomom, applied for public aid, the mother of 14 children allegedly failed to disclose that she was also getting checks for personal appearances and royalties, I believe, residues. I don't know what the hell this word is, but pretty much royalties from videos. Known for the tabloids as Octomom, she was not arrested but was ordered to appear before the Los Angeles County judge for her internal arrangement. The DA said Monday she was not taken into custody Friday. The charges is 1 count of aid by misrepresenting and 2 counts of perjury by false application aid access. Suleman was not reporting nearly $30,000 in earnings. Her work was no secret, though. This is something I want to keep that in mind. Her work was no secret. And I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Suleman, 38, performed as an adult video and danced topless at a Florida strip club last year. That is not a new career for her. Her representative, Jenny Rodriguez, told CNN in June when asked about her stripping gig. She just promoted her new video. An adult video featuring Suleman was released in June. Suleman revealed in April that she was so determined to build a future for her 14 children that she would accept an adult entertainment offer, although she would not touch any human flesh. Suleman was collecting food stamps to feed her 14 children and filed for bankruptcy in May, but the case was tossed out in court because of the paperwork issues. Suleman dreamed of building a business empire that will pay for food, shelter, and college education for 14 children, she told Turner. She ultimately hopes to become a role model for other women facing major struggles, she said. I'm going to stop there. I'll leave a link below so you guys can read yourself. Do apologize if I misspell some names on that. But in any case, here's my feeling on this. I'm going to go right back to the beginning, because I think you guys need to understand why a lot of people, lots of people, are not happy with this woman. Woman had done a very dangerous procedure, which resulted in her gaining her children. She already had children before, but she had, I believe, 9 more, which made it a total of 14. It was very clear why how she did it. She was hoping to gain sympathy and donation, more donation from the public after it was the news report broke that this was the woman who had done a dangerous procedure, which, by the way, have cost a doctor, I believe, his license. However, it didn't work out that way. Many people were angry at her because she did such a dangerous procedure, and everybody asked, including myself, is how the hell she's going to support 14 children all by herself. And it wasn't the response that she was getting. She was actually hoping for donations. She was actually hoping for money for this achievement she had, and it never worked out. As a result, things didn't get any better when it was reported that she was collecting public assistance. Things got so bad that she really must had to do porn. It was, I don't consider it porn. It was basically soft porn, but just her by herself. And that gig was in order to help feed the children because she was not employed and she was pretty much desperate for cash. So all that stuff was pretty much led to the people being angry, saying, have you not been irresponsible and immature in your decisions, you wouldn't have to be going through this mess in the first place. I have no argument with that. She was very irresponsible. She didn't think about what she was doing, and as a result, you have I'm more concerned about her children growing up and how they're going to live day by day than pretty much what she have done. Because, like I said, she didn't think about the consequences of her actions. So that was one of the things that it really bothered me when this thing broke out a few years ago. With that being said, in terms of the charges that she committed fraud, I kind of find that hard to believe for simple reasons that I'm going to say. One, when you apply for welfare, public assistance, in the more political sense here, you have to file, you have to tell your reports. And I got news for you, even if you don't, guess what? The federal is going to do it for you, because the moment you make the money below the poverty level, guess what's going to happen? You're automatically cut off. And the only way you can get that reactivated if you prove that you're still making below the poverty level. That's one. Two, you have a face-to-face. In case you don't know what face-to-face is, face-to-face is a reconciliation hearing that when you go there, they will determine, based on your record, based on what you're making, and based on what you put out there, exactly if you still are qualified for public assistance. Keep in mind, when you're in public assistance, you're all below the poverty level, and it varies. The system varies from state to state. Now, all states' public assistance are the same. They got different rules in different parts of the United States, depending on where you are. But most importantly, and I think the article said it best, is this was no secret. Everybody knew she was doing a porn video. Everybody knew that she was being a topless dancer. There was no secret about that. She even had a phone hotline at one point that we could actually call up and she will talk to you for a fee. So a lot of stuff she was doing was no secret. The media was on it the moment she was doing something like this. The media interviewed her about her decision she was making. So the fact that unless you're telling me that public assistants, the states workers and public assistants don't watch television, or even listen to the radio, or even go online, I find it very hard to believe that she could actually deceive them for that long. I really do. I mean, unless they really was in the dark. That's why I kind of find that hard to believe. And in fact, I'm keeping it real. The moment she put out her first check, immediately she probably would get cut off. I know in New York, if you're making above a certain amount of money, it's already reported by public assistance. That cuts you right off. So like, he's making as more than he needs to see. You're cut off. Or in some cases, they ask you to come down Let me see your last few pay stubs, and then if they see that you're still on the problem level, just leave it alone. So I find it strange that they didn't pick up on that. I really do. As much as we want to, you know, want to get on Aquaman for some things, I'm kind of wondering how is it possible that something that is so publicized was left in the dark by the PA, by welfare. It's just, I find that very strange, and I'm actually kind of wondering, and this is my opinion, if the DA is using this to go after her because pretty much she wanted to make an example of her. I mean, granted, I'm keeping it real. I don't have any sympathy for the decision she made, but I do kind of question the welfare fraud charges relating to the allegations. I'm not buying it. Unless she actually really came out in the open and said, no, I'm no longer making this money, and then probably putting it on the paper, which, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of dumb of her not to report that, yeah, she's making this kind of money. I don't see that sticking. I honestly don't. Because the first thing I'm going to say if I'm a judge is, how the hell you not know? I knew. I knew all the while television. How the hell you not knew? I find that very fishy. I know that people are like, oh, but she deserved it. But you got to look at the situation here. This was no secret. And if welfare didn't pick up on it all this time, it makes me wonder who's running that office building right there. It just does. I find that very hard to believe that social services for a year did not pick up on what she was doing. I can't buy it. I really can't. And once, because again, I have to say, once the first check comes in, and once the federal government sees it, that feedback goes right back to human resources saying, okay, she's making enough money, start phasing it out. Get the letter saying she's no longer eligible. That's just my opinion. Unless they really take the paperwork as into face value, which in this case, I'm not really buying. I'll leave a link. You guys can talk about it. You guys can bring your opinion. But I do find it kind of odd. That's just me. I'm not. There's nothing more to that story than meets the eye. All right, moving on along. We got a lot of stuff still going on. Madonna made the news, guys. She made the news big time. And you know what? I'm going to leave that for the second half. Yes, I'm breaking it up into two parts because I just realized it's 37 minutes and counting, and I'm not going to have an hour video on this. So I'm going to talk about the rest of the articles in the second half. I still have the announcements that one of my favorite Gothic actors is got engaged. We still have the Superman to talk about, the Madonna story I'm going to leave right off with. And those are the three remaining stories that made headway for me so far. So, with that being said, I'm going to stop here. And until then, guys, I'd like to hear your opinion on these. I'd like to hear your opinion on what I have just said. And love to hear your feedback on the matter. But most importantly, give me your thoughts on the article that I have just talked about. But until then, I'll see you guys at part 2.